Oh boy. So, WrestleMania 41 happened. It is very divisive. So, we're going to talk about it. First of all, I want to just address something real quick. Next week, around 2 weeks, I should be back and ready to go when it comes to making videos and all that. I want to make that clear. And streaming and making podcast episodes and all that. But I do want to take this moment and talk about WrestleMania 41 because it's very divisive. And I think people are kind of over exaggerating, but at the same time, I think people are. But I feel like at the same time, I feel like there's a problem that we're having in just wrestling overall. And before I start all that, I want to say this. I feel like I never really said my opinion very publicly. I've only recently started doing that ever since I made the podcast episode. Ever since I made an episode, I talked about the whole thing with PK Saban, the hockey guy that talked about passion in the NBA and all that. I didn't take a moment because I thought he was talking about the All-Star. It seems like he was more talking about overall. And I don't think that's fair because there's a lot of passion overall with the game. The All-Star probably, for the past few years, probably not. This year, though, has shown a little bit of passion because, they didn't want to lose to the non-All-Stars. But I've always been critical of old heads thinking that they know better because they play the game. Like, look, what I mean by that is an NBA analyst and an NBA player are two different things. An NBA player can teach you how to test yourself, how to drive yourself to be the best, and understand your weakness, find a strength, how to understand the player's weakness and all that. I get that. An NBA analyst's job is to talk about the game that they saw and critique it on that day and say, what do they need to do to improve? What do they need to do? Are these teams legit? Do we need to take them? Is it time for the world to take them seriously? What happened to this player? Does this player have a chance to be something good? Is there potential for this player? That's an analyst's job. An analyst to talk about the overall game. That's an analyst's job. To talk about your personal growth, give you advice to your personal growth. That's an NBA player's job. But I think, NBA old heads had this weird way of just criticizing the game nowadays, which is very stupid. But that's a video for another day. WrestleMania or wrestling has that same problem where I feel like people are too blinded with nostalgia that they will try to critique wrestling nowadays and act like they're the smartest ones and they know better. When in reality, none of us know shit. Now, I did saw a poll that apparently wrestling fans do have a very high IQ. That's a debate. That's a whole debate on that one. But WrestleMania 41 has made me seen two sides of the situation. Of one side, being fair and liking the show and all that, sharing their opinion about it, and defending WWE for certain things. And then you get the other side who didn't like the show, who didn't like anything about the show, and were pissed off about it, and actually disasters. Even a couple YouTubers got involved in that. And I just want to be on record. I want to address two things. One, I think the IWC community on Twitter is kind of a joke. On Twitter. I think Twitter's a joke. I've always been critical saying Twitter is an absolute joke. And I was on record on a status saying IWC cry me a river. I put that on my status on Discord when Jey Uso won the world title. But then I really looked at a lot of people just telling people, stop crying in the comments. You're just whining because you didn't like the main event. You're just whining because you don't like Jay. What? And then I realized, oh shit, maybe saying IWC cry me winner was not the smartest move. Luckily, I'm only just saying it now because I think I think we took this criticism. I think we took this idea of somebody disagreeing with you to a level where we're getting to a point that we're 100% hypocrites. We are hypocrites, all of us. We all, either as a community, we all are hypocrites. We're a bunch of hypocrites, walking hypocrites. But now here's what I want to say. If you don't like certain wrestlers, because of their movesets and all that, I get it. If you don't think they're you don't think they're worthy of main eventing WrestleMania, that's fine. My issue, and that's why I said what I said about the IWC community, and that's the same reason why people will say the same thing to people who are, just on the crowd and all that. The issue is there's a point where you go from disagreeing to just flat out insulting. People have gotten so comfortable just insulting that people like me had at times stooped to a level to where I start insulting people that are insulting others. And that involves the IWC Cry Me a River, and it involves yesterday when I said this Las Vegas crowd is kind of stupid. I've been on record saying that. I said that before, and my friend has said the same thing because they didn't really react too much in night one accordingly, and night two was very different. I just think at the end of the day, the more I really think about it, I think we as a whole need to stop with that narrative. Unfortunately, it is true that there are times where people do be whining. That is true. That's true. Like, there's going to be whining no matter what. But I think the idea is don't tell somebody to stop whining when you're about to whine. Don't do that. That's not fair. You can't tell somebody to stop whining when you're going to whine. That's hypocritical. Don't do that. So, WrestleMania 41. WrestleMania 4. I'm going to start talking about the Jey Uso and Gunter match first. That match was, in my opinion, I think the match was fine. I think it was good. I wasn't expecting a 5-star match at all. I was just expecting that match was meant for the moment, to give Jey Uso the world title, and he did. He won it. The controversy came from the fact that he won with a sleeper hold, and Gunter tapped out in 4 seconds. And before that, Gunter used the title to cheat. Didn't work. I think the idea, because I've watched wrestling for a while, so I understand if people didn't get it, because when you're watching a show, you don't really want to think. You just want to be in the moment. So obviously there's going to be confusion to Gunter. I think that finish was more of a respect to the hardcore, not the casual, the hardcore wrestling fans, because Gunter did tap out in 2 seconds against Ilya Dragunov for the UK title. He did do that. So I think the idea was that Gunter's biggest weakness is his own moves. You hit him with a powerbomb, it hurts badly. You hit him with a clothesline, it hurts. It hurts him. You hit him put him in the sleeper hole, he's in trouble. He doesn't know how to, because I think the idea is that, sorry about that. I think Gunter is the type of wrestler that they made where it's like, he looks perfect, he talks perfect, he talks with confidence. Like, Gunter's great, by the way, is what I'm trying to say. Gunter's amazing. But the little interesting part is that his weakness is the fact that he focused too heavily on the moves that he used that are dangerous to others, that he doesn't realize if somebody does it to him, he's kind of screwed, because he never learned how to fight against his own moves. He's only know how to fight against other people's moves. Who knows how to? He could break people down, and in this story, it was the same thing with Sami Zayn. He tried to break them down, didn't work. He lost the title. Now, Gunter does have a 1-2 record now at WrestleMania. I think next year, WrestleMania, he should be winning something. He should win a match. That I agree with. I agree with that. But I think the reaction to the finish is a bit over exaggerated. But I understand why is the way it is because again, you're looking at a guy like Gunter, like very tough guy, and he taps out in 4 seconds. You need the context to understand why he tapped out, which I feel like WWE needs to start balancing context and no context. Like that was a risky move. What they could have done instead of him tapping out in 4 seconds is Gunter's fighting. Gunter's fighting to get out. But Jey Uso is just on just in a different level in his mind right now, where he just refuses. No pain inflicts on him. He just refuses to let go, and then maybe he passes out or maybe he taps out. Whatever it is works. I understand that idea to give because I think if they did that, the fans would go, "Oh my god, oh." New Day versus Ivar and the War Raiders. Um, people didn't react to it, but it was a good match. It was a really good match. New Day won the tag team championships. Deserved 12-time tag team champion. I'm curious to see how they're going to do with this run. They deserve it. I mean, again, if you turn heel, it has to be justifiable. Justifiable heel turn. There you go. And Kofi made me. And by the way, Kofi made me laugh the whole way. His facial reactions is just hilarious. I love Kofi. Kofi's one of my favorite wrestlers, no matter what. But yeah, unfortunately, not a crazy match. People didn't really think much of it. So far, good match, decent opener, not a great secondary. Then afterwards, went to Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Now there was a controversial one some people saying that Naomi probably should have won. You guys were kind of in the impasse where, sure, Naomi should have won, but so did Jade Cargill. And maybe if they hadn't overreact to the disqualification like they've done throughout the whole career, they probably could have done it there. But you had to put someone over, and I think Jade Cargill was the right choice because you're trying to push her. She is younger than Naomi, I think. I don't know. But she is new. She is newer than Naomi. Naomi's been in the company for a while, left, went to TNA, came back. I get that. I think Naomi's going to be just fine. Her character is going to be amazing. I'm going to enjoy watching that. I think Jade Cargill has something in the future. At some point, she should hold a world title. I don't know how. I don't know when, but at some point she should. Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight. That one woke people up. I think that one woke people. I knew that after the first two matches, I knew that there was going to be I think it was between the Jade Cargill Naomi match, or Jacob Fatu LA Knight match. One of them is going to wake the fans up, and the Jacob Fatu and the LA Knight match woke them up a little bit. Jacob Fatu deserved that United States Championship. I feel bad for Solo though. I do feel bad for Solo, but Jacob Fatu, he's one of those rare wrestlers that you just have to look at him. Look how he looks, and you go, I know he's a heel, but he looks so cool. I can't boo him. And that's Jacob's situation right now. He's such a badass that I really think if he were to have a long United States title reign, nobody would complain. But the thing is that there has to be at some point a story between him and Solo. There has to be a story where, and if you really want to make Jacob Fatu this new guy, polish and make him this new top guy in the WWE, you don't even need to make him lose the title. Just put him in a situation where they did in TNA, like a Plan B or something, where it's like, hey, I'm the United States champion, but that world championship I want for the family. So I'm taking this championship away because I want the big one. I want to revive my family. I want the big one. I think if you do that, it will work. Oh my god. But that's how I feel. Then we got to Ray Phoenix with El Grande Americano. Very controversial match. You know, there are people that are not a fan of the gimmick. And to be fair, that is a risky gimmick, especially since, you know, they did change it to Gulf in America. So it was very controversial. I feel like having him win, I understand. For me, the gimmick is funny, but that's me. Not everybody's gonna think the gimmick's funny. If there's a good amount of people that are not a fan of it, you're gonna have to get rid of that gimmick at some point, because all you're doing is losing fans if you keep a gimmick that is very controversial and people find it a little bit racist. I'm not one of them, but just because I'm not one of them does not mean there's majority of them. It's the same thing with the well, actually, I don't know. But you know, I think the match was good. I think Chad Gable pulled out some good matches, some good spots. And I found out that AAA is having a little crossover with WWE and all that. All I have to say for those who don't know much about AAA, if there's one wrestler I think you guys should pay attention to, it was a guy in the crowd named Vikingo. The one that kicked El Grande Americano. Vikingo is really good. Like, in-ring style, amazing. Top notch. If you're looking for just that, that's your guy. Put him in anybody. He'll deliver. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Oh, boy. Sluggish. Some part. But, again, the person that we wanted to win won. Tiffany did win. Tiffany did retain. Thank God. I don't know much about Charlotte Flair, the person. I felt bad that she got booed when she won the Royal Rumble. I didn't really mind the decision of her winning. I feel like it was fine, but I did understand. But then I understand what people's problem was. Majority of the time when Charlotte Flair returns to the ring, she ends up having a title or something like that around her waist, or having a big win. I get that. We'll get to another wrestler in a minute. A lot of good. Night one was just a walking divisive show. That's for sure. But Tiffany won. I felt like the match was fine. I liked it. And then we get to the main event. And oh my God, the main event. Oh my God. That was one of my favorite matches I've ever watched live. That was amazing. Punk, Rollins, Roman, Paul Heyman. Oh my God, it's amazing. Obviously, you know, I don't want to get too much of the match itself, but Rollins winning was a great choice. I chose Rollins to win. My friend chose Punk. Punk and Roman winning, I get that. And then you can do the heel turn afterwards. I understand that. Rollins winning, amazing. Seth Rollins deserved it. Seth Rollins is a 3-time main eventer. Isn't that crazy? Obviously, people are talking about CM Punk's first time main eventing. That's a big thing, obviously. But I think Seth Rollins, when he retires, everybody's going to look at him and say, he might be the greatest underrated wrestler of all time. I know Miz is up there. Right now we're saying Miz. Right now we're saying Sheamus. And they deserve to be in that mantle. But Seth Rollins is a multiple-time world champion. He's been in the WWE since 2013 or 12. And you never heard him complain. You never heard him get annoyed of a booking decision. You never heard him, you know. The only complaints you see him is like he doesn't like Punk. He don't like Cody. You know, like, that's all you're getting. And he obviously had the 2019 thing where he's defending WWE and all that. You know, he is the WWE guy. And it's because WWE gave him everything he wanted. So it makes sense for him to be a WWE guy. To have that moment where he made Paul turn heel and he becomes, I guess he's a heel now. It's going to be hard to boo him, but he came in there as a third wheel and he came out of there as the guy. And now there's your story right there. Because the idea was that Roman can't be trusted. Punk can't be trusted. But Rollins, the hypocrisy, he can't be trusted. He was never able to be trusted. So now, what do you do with Roman and Punk? Does Roman go away for a while? Because I know Punk's gonna probably gonna come in this tonight on Raw and probably just go ape shit. We're gonna find out. But amazing main event for me. That's a 5-star match. Night 1 was not bad. I like night 1. Very divisive, very fine, whatever. But it picked up at the end. Night 2 though. Night 2 was better. No doubt. Night 2 was much, much better. First match, triple threat. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. Second favorite match of the night. Second favorite match of the night. My favorite is the triple threat from the night before. But this one, we need to have a discussion of Io Sky being one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Not right now. Fuck that statement. Right, all time. Rhea's up there too. Bianca's up there too. I think the women's wrestling, when it comes to skills in the match and everything, is at its best right now. Now I understand Chyna, Lita, Trish paved the way for the situation we're in now. I get that. But you have to understand, for me, I'm 21 years old. I did not watch them wrestle. But I'm watching these three wrestle, and I love every single one of it. Bianca, amazing. Championship material, wrestling material, rival material, everything. Rhea Ripley, it's Rhea fucking Ripley. And Io Sky, man. Io Sky, she's kind of an inspiration. Because she's not that tall. But she's a world champion. If this was the Vince era, Io Sky would not have this moment. She will not. I'm sorry, she just won't. I think Io Sky rightfully deserved that moment. Io Sky this is something, she deserved it. She cashed in Money Bank last year, lost at WrestleMania, wins it on a random night at Raw, and you capitalize on it. You had to. And the ending to the match, just amazing. The street fight. I like that. I like this match. Drew McIntyre deserves a world title at some point again. He had it last year for like 5 minutes. And I get it for a cash in. At some point, he should be world champion again. He needs to be world championship again. He deserves it. This man is the ultimate social media troll, and I love every second of it. He treated still bored at work. He's a funny guy. He's pretty comedic. Damian Priest himself, I have a soft spot for Damian Priest because I'm Puerto Rican. He's also Puerto Rican. I think Damian Priest deserves another world title shot as well. I think he deserves to have a title around his waist. I think he deserves to be in world championship material. I even go as far to say to put him against world title matches a couple times. Or if you put him to SmackDown, put him against WWE title matches sometimes. Hey, listen, I'm just saying, very, very out there take, but if you make Damian Priest beat John Cena for the WWE title, I'm not going to complain. I'm just saying. It's not going to happen, but I want it to. Great street fight. They went crazy. The Claymore at the end. Beautiful. Drew McIntyre, he deserved it. He did, just like Rollins, he did pay his due a couple times. He hasn't won a match in a while, but now he got that match. Now he's back in the win column. Fatal 4-Way. Braun Breaker. Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and Penta. There is certain people that are not a fan of Braun Breaker, who says that he is spirit. I saw a YouTuber that explained that he wasn't a fan of the spear, and I think Braun, and I'm saying this for this reason. I think Braun Breaker has the greatest spear ever. It's very explosive. And he just it looks like he's literally killing someone. He literally just slicing someone in half. That's what it looks like. Braun Breaker's spear is on a top-notch level. And I understand if you're not a fan of the spear. Maybe you like Roman, maybe like, all that. I get that. But his spear, he had, I think his spear with Carlito on Raw, that was the greatest spear I've ever seen. Because I fucking died laughing when I saw it. That's how crazy that spear was. Braun Breaker deserves he's another guy. There's your top guy right there. Another world championship material. Penta, I mean, he's gonna be great in WWE. He's gonna be the Intercontinental Championship at some point. I'm excited to see when. Finn Balor deserves something. He does deserve something. I think he's shown to be a very good wrestler, period. But he's losing some steam. He is losing steam. And Dominic won the Intercontinental Championship. Dominic got the biggest pop of the night. Dominic Mysterio. I loved him as a heel. He was so good at that role. And he was funny. Dude was funny. There's your chance to make him a babyface. Dominic got over. Dominic turned heel twice. He left the Mysterio family. He carved his own path. He wanted to carve his own path. He might be a world champion in the future. And the start is the Intercontinental Championship, and I love it. He deserved it. Because at some point, you're going to have to give the title to him. Because I get it. He's a heel and all that. But he deserves it. He deserves it, man. He deserves it. Great match. That spear to Carlito. Carlito is the real MVP, man. This man is funny and dies every time. Like, this man deserves something at some point. I did not watch the AJ Styles vs. Logan Paul match for one reason only. I don't like Logan Paul. I don't like him. I don't like him as a person, so I'm not going to give him the respect and watch his matches. But that's just me. Some people did, I know. And I'm aware, my friend told me, he watched the match. Logan Paul won. Fuck you. And Karrion Kross, by the way, Karrion Kross. No, screw that. Killer Kross. He did like I don't know what the name of the podcast is, but I saw it on Twitter. He did a promo. And he put out one of the best promos I've ever seen. And I'm like, bro, give this man a chance. This man cut it such a good, was a spitting fire. I was stunned. I was like, oh my God. And he goes to the guy in the suit, fuck you. And that's from Killer Kross. He said, that's from Killer Kross. Killer Kross. Those who don't know, Killer Kross was his name in other companies. Until he came to WWE and he was called Karrion Kross. WWE, if you really know what you're doing in that moment, you change his name to Killer Kross right now. No more Karrion. Killer Kross. That Killer Kross is a Karrion Killer Kross. He's a championship material. He always has been. I expect a title around his waist very soon. He deserved it. He always has. I've always loved him. I've always loved Karrion Kross. He deserves it. I didn't watch the match. I don't like Logan Paul for many reasons to why he scammed his audience. He's just a piece of trash. Him and his brother are both pieces of trash. KSI is also another piece of trash. He just hangs around a piece of trash. Mr. Beast also a piece of trash. Oh my God, I could go all day. But I didn't watch the match. I think AJ Styles deserved more. I will love WWE to get rid of Logan Paul from WWE. I don't care if he's good. I don't give a shit. Some people do, and I get it why he's there. But for me, I don't give a shit. I want him out of WWE. I don't want to watch anything involving him. Because all I'm doing is awarding a terrible person by watching his shit. He's not a good heel if somebody's turning off the TV. Turn off the TV. Boop. He's not a good heel if he's turning off the TV. A good heel is somebody watching TV begging someone to get his ass kicked. Begging someone to kick their ass. That's a good heel. I'm not doing that. I'm turning off the TV. I don't want to watch Logan Paul, period. Anyway, the semi-main event for night 2 was the tag team. No, actually, no. Well, I think I got it reversed, but Randy Orton came out, and he was going to have a special match, and it turned out to be Joe Henry. I thought it was going to be Nick Aldis or Corey Graves or Miro. Joe Henry, that's amazing. He deserved it. That's amazing. The crossovers began. Why did you bury him? I didn't like that. I honestly didn't like that. Why did you bury him? People go, well, this is Randy Orton. It's like, I get it, but you should at least give him something. Now he did have some licks in, but the match could have been a little bit longer. But the reason why was because they were trying to put time in together and all that. But at least that's the excuse. The damn show ended at 10:47. So I don't know how much of an excuse that is, but but whatever. I think Joe Henry deserved more. I would have let him win, to be honest, because he is a world champion. At the end of the day, a world champion should be treated like a world champion. This is Joe Henry. He is a world champion. But if Randy did win, I wouldn't mind, as long as they had a good match. They didn't, whatever. Semi-main event, tag team match. Becky Lynch came back, wins the title. Twitter went crazy. They're calling her Becky Hogan. I don't think that's her decision. I think that's WWE decision. But I just don't like that Lyra Valkyria is the one that won the damn title. Now, obviously, because Bayley got hurt, Becky Lynch is the one that attacked Bayley. So we all know where that story is going to. But I think. But what was the point of having the Women's Intercontinental Championship or the Women's United States Championship if they're not going to be booked? WWE's not perfect, man. I'm telling you, there's some issues. And apparently, I didn't really see it. I only saw a little bit when Triple H was calling out the internet wrestling community and all that. And I thought that he was talking about, those that were just criticizing, Jey Uso for the sake of criticizing and all that. And apparently it seems like he's just criticizing it overall, which don't do that. Oh, God. Don't feed to their fuel. If you criticize them, all you're doing is proving their point because they're trying to get to you. And it goes back to when I put in my Discord status, like, IWC, go cry me a river. Admittedly, I was stooping to their level. And that needs to stop. I need to not do that. I need to not do that. And everybody else needs to stop doing that. If somebody's in the level where they're being toxic. Not all the wrestling community is internet wrestling community is toxic. I'm talking about the toxic ones. If there's toxicness, specifically Twitter, mainly Twitter, toxins on Twitter, don't stoop to their level. Just look at it and ignore it and move on. We criticize Tony Khan for doing the things he's doing. WWE, don't do that. Don't do that, please. Same goes to wrestling YouTubers. Don't do that. Do not go around starting videos saying, if you guys disagree with me, cry about it, because that's just disrespectful as hell. That's just rude. That's plainly rude. Don't do that. If you do that, you're a hypocrite and a piece of shit. That's basically what you are. Right. And if you can accept that, fine. You can accept that. But don't get upset if people are going to start saying that now, because that's why people lose. Because you can make a great point, but if you say stuff like, I know more than you, or you're a fucking idiot, and cry about it, you little bitch, or something like that, or just whine about it in the comments, or I know I offended you guys in the comments, so for me being too honest, or something like that, I apologize, and all that. If that's the response that we're pulling out, you got to do better. You got to do it better as a person, because that's just hypocritical and that's just flat out disrespectful. Because you're disrespecting your audience for watching your video, the same people that are the reason why you're in the position that you're in right now. I need to do better too. Because on Discord, I said IWC cry about it. And when Jey Uso won, I was very emotional, and I said what I said. I said, if you like what you saw, if you don't like Jey Uso's thing, go fuck yourself and all that, right? That was, obviously that's not the greatest response I should give at all. So I'm gonna improve on that. I know I didn't. It wasn't. I'm sharing what I said outside of that, obviously, but overall, like at the end of the day, like don't do that. Like just be respectful, man. Be nice. People are gonna have a different opinion than you, and there's going to be people that are gonna call you out and get personal with you and don't insult you and all that. Don't stoop to their level. Just ignore it and move on, and don't go around saying cry about it or whine about it if someone disagrees with you. That's just hypocritical. You're just a hypocrite because usually 95% of the time, the people that say whine about it ends up whining. The tag team match was whatever, not a fan of it that much, but new tag team champions. I feel like they should have chose someone else than Lyrie, but that's whatever. I feel like Katana Chance and Kaden Carter probably deserved it more than them, but whatever. Main event time. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. To their credit, John Cena did say, "You get nothing." We got nothing. We did. I didn't. The main event wasn't that good. I'll admit it was a little bit disappointing. I wasn't a fan of it, but there are people that liked it because at the end of the day, let's go back to what I said earlier. The whole purpose of that match was to give John Cena the 17th world title. We got there. He's a champion. So, mission accomplished. The biggest complaint with the match, and I don't want to be that guy, but judging by how the certain matches have gone, it's clear that I don't think this title reign with John Cena should be long, for my opinion, because I don't think Cena really has it anymore. To be honest, I don't think he does. Because the nostalgia like that can only last forever. Last for a certain amount of time, actually. It doesn't last forever. It can only last for a certain amount of time. And so, by the time it starts to run out, you're going to have to change the title to somebody. Give it to somebody else. But right now, we're in Cloud 9, because John Cena's 17 World Champion. If there's anybody that deserves it, it's John Cena. John Cena deserves it. John Cena will forever be one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Forever be one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. His heel one's justified. Let's get to The Rock. I'm going to guess tonight at Raw, The Rock is going to look. John Cena's going to cut a promo saying that I'm going to ruin wrestling. You're never going to see the title again. Rock interrupts and says, "Nah, I have your soul. So for that, give me your title. Because I'm the champion now." If he does that tonight, then everything's justified. People might not like it, but it'll be justifiable. The issue was that Travis Scott was in wrestling. I didn't like it when Travis Scott came to wrestling before the elimination thing, and I don't like it now. I don't like Travis Scott. I don't like him. He's another one. Terrible person. I'm aware of what he did to his damn audience when he just watched them die. So I don't like him. Because of that, and he wrote a shitty ass apology. Another not really a good person getting rewarded for doing terrible things. And not holding responsible for it. And not caring. It's the same thing with Logan Paul. It's the same thing with freaking Travis Scott. I hate both of them. I hate them. Hate's a strong word, and I don't like them. And I'm strong with that. So when Travis Scott came in, I was like, Cody, please put him across us, and he did. So I was happy. John Cena, low blow title. It was anticlimactic. I think the main problem with the whole show, most of the matches was anticlimactic. Admittedly, most of the matches was kind of anticlimactic. I can give you that. But, John Cena's a world champion. We got what we want. What more can you want? And he did say you get nothing, man. We got nothing. So, jokingly, he lived up to that. However, I feel like there's a certain level where you could have gotten The Rock involved at WrestleMania. But I will change my mind if he gets involved today. So that's WrestleMania 41. A very divisive show. WrestleMania 41, if I were to describe WrestleMania 41 to somebody, it's the Call of Duty effect. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1. When it first came out, people looked at it as like, oh my god, this is really fun. This is really good. I like it. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 comes out. One of the best Call of Duties of all time. I never played it. I'm just quoting what other people are saying. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Good game. A little bit divisive, it seems like. That's kind of WrestleMania. That's the 3 WrestleManias that we just had. WrestleMania 39. Amazing. Loved it. WrestleMania 40. The best WrestleMania. People are saying one of the best WrestleMania right now. WrestleMania 41. Unfortunately, at some point after WrestleMania 40, you're going to hit a low. This is the low. Unfortunately. But if this is the low, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Because I think everything's going to be fine at the end. I do want to... So, I don't know much about anything outside of WWE, admittedly. I don't know anything about the whole thing with The Rock, not wanting to show up. I'm not aware with... I am aware... The only thing I'm aware of is the Charlotte Flair Tiffany thing, which, very, something. I am aware of the... I am aware of the anger people are having with Austin Theory, and I'm aware of the Karrion Kross stuff. Triple H, if it's true that you were on record being very, sensitive and not handling criticism, you and Nick Khan, you're no better than Tony Khan. If that were true. The purpose of criticism is that when somebody criticizes you, acknowledge the criticism, even if it's just flat out wrong. Even if you disagree with them, acknowledge it and go, okay, let's try to make them feel good. No matter what, your job is to, because at the end of the day, the reason why you're in the position you are right now is because people are watching your shit. WWE does not happen unless people are watching it. Now, obviously, the wrestlers themselves put their blood, sweat, and tears for people to watch and cheer for them. I get that. I'm not saying that's not the case. But at the end of the day, you can put in the blood, sweat, and tears all you want. If nobody is watching, it doesn't matter. The fans are the reason. It's the same thing with anything. Anything. If people are not watching, what are you really doing? But guess what? The test is discipline. What do you do when nobody else is looking? So when people are looking, what do? You put out a great show. And all that. Sometimes you're going to miss. Even though I didn't mind WrestleMania, I think it's safe to say that according to most people, it was a miss. It was a miss. That's okay. We're going to have misses. What do? Bounce back. So that's how I feel about WrestleMania 41. I feel like WrestleMania 41 for me was a good show. It was good. We got what we want. The main event yesterday was not great, and some of the matches weren't that perfect, but we got what we want. The result and got what we want. So I came out there pretty happy and excited to watch Raw the next day, which is today. So they did their job in a way, but if there's one criticism I can give, the biggest one, the builds. Exception to the main event. between John Cena and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and Punk and Rollins and all that. I think the builds overall, the triple threat women's match, the Io Sky and all that. I think overall the problem with WWE, I think, is that they focus too heavily on the next year that they kind of forget what they need. They kind of don't know what to do around the middle. I think a safer way is to focus on the first 3 months of the WWE, maybe. And then once those 3 months comes by, then you focus on the 3 months after that, and after that. And then you're going to get to that point where it's like, okay, what we're doing at Mania? What's the story? Because this is what we have right now. Because let me tell you something. Austin Theory better turn face at some point, because at this point we're getting to a category where he actually does feel like he's getting buried. He's not really doing anything. Him and Grayson Waller does deserve a lot. Austin Theory deserves way more than he's given credit for, and it's not fair. It's not his fault that Vince McMahon handpicked him. Theory has what it takes to be a world champion. He does. You just gotta let him go out there and just be Austin Theory. Overall, I think I give WrestleMania a 7 out of 10. It was a good show. Not a 10 out of 10 or anything like that. I did said I gave Night 2 a 9 out of 10. And I probably should have given it an 8 out of 10. No, I give it an 8 out of 10. I like the show. I did. I really did. I actually did like the show. But I understand why people don't like it. But I also think that it's not fair to be all very disrespectful to people that did like it. Like, if they like it, they like it. It wasn't harmful. It wasn't harmful that they liked John Cena winning the title the way how he did. It wasn't harmful that people liked the way how Jey Uso beat Gunter and all that. So yeah, my critics, my biggest critique is the bill wasn't that great. Logan Paul and Travis Scott existing, and just wrestling people from the internet. Just ironically, the internet wrestling community, specifically just certain wrestling YouTubers, certain wrestling, Twitter users, just being disrespectful and being hypocritical because someone doesn't agree with what you say. Like, again, when I said I felt guilty to stooping to that level by saying IWC, go cry me a river, because of the whole Jey Uso thing, because I was defending Jey Uso because I love Jey Uso. That's my stupidity. That's my dumbass fault. Instead of doing that, they just go. Ignore. It was in that moment too. Like, I should have just ignore the wrestling community. They're being toxic. If they don't like it, they don't like it. But if you're gonna attack somebody because they don't like it, saying a bunch of things on Twitter, saying screw you, Cody Crybabies, is finally the most boring rank ended. All these whinies can stop. Or if you don't like what I say, whine about it in the comments. Or hey, I'm so sorry that my honesty is offending you. I apologize. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you with that narrative. Go fuck yourself. Anyone with that type of train of thought. Anyway, I'm gonna go clean my grandma's bathroom and watch the NBA playoffs and some wrestling. Have a great day.